Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going to go retrograde January 14th at 16 degrees of Capricorn. Now remember, I am talking about the sidereal Vedic placements, not the Western tropical. And before I proceed any further, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and once you sign up, you'll be getting all of my predictions delivered to your email address free. So don't forget to check that out. So continuing on, talking about this Mercury retrograde. Well, for those of you that are new to this, when a planet goes retrograde, of course, it really doesn't travel backwards when it's going around the sun, but in the process of a planet coming up to the Earth while we're all going around the sun, when we go in front of a planet pretty much in motion and space, it appears that it's going backwards, but it actually, of course, is not. But from our vantage point, it is going backwards. So everything to do with what that planet's about goes backwards. And the sign that it's in gives us volumes of information as to what will occur. So thinking about this, Mercury is going to go retrograde. Therefore, Mercury deals with everything to do with communications, with language, with how we connect and how we travel. Any kind of communication, that means writing, speaking, telephones, computers, social media. These are all ways that we connect. And don't forget that it rules travel. So travel plans will go haywire during this time. There'll be delays in airports, cancellations, and problems with travel, big time. Maybe even problems with machinery and aircraft. Things like that, mechanicals, and we hope it doesn't produce anything dramatic, but this is a possibility when Mercury goes retrograde. All these areas go haywire. Now let's talk a little bit about the sign. Now, when Mercury goes retrograde, it goes retrograde, believe it or not, only 3 times a year. It feels like it's retrograde all the time, but it's not. It's just we're so aware when it is retrograde because everything seems to go haywire. And remember, people become a lot more forgetful when Mercury's retrograde as well. So it's the times that you leave your keys and you get locked out of the house or locked out of your car, and just crazy things that don't usually happen. And I used to find that when Mercury go retrograde, I'd always have car trouble. So it's like you can't move, you can't get places. That kind of thing would happen as well. It's really not a bad thing though. Mercury retrograde is here to slow us down, take the time to pull back and review things, because we don't ever want to take the time to go back and review things. We want to keep pushing forward, and that's not normal. Everything has an ebb and a flow. Everything moves forward. It's all cyclic. Things go forward, but it's time to pull back and reassess, reevaluate things. I always say Mercury retrograde is everything with RE. Review, reassess, reanalyze, just relax. So that is Mercury retrograde. But the sign is so important because in the year when it goes retrograde 3 times, it goes retrograde 3 times in a year for 3 weeks at a time. And each year it goes retrograde in a certain element. And in the sidereal Vedic signs, it's going to be retrograde in the earth signs. So in January, it's going to be in Capricorn. Then sometime around May, it's going to be in Taurus. And sometime around September, it's going to be in Virgo. So you see, it's in the 3 earth signs. What does earth pertain to? The economy. Deals with money. It deals with business. It deals with careers. The Capricorn is all about government, rulership, careers, jobs, Business, that's Capricorn. So that's what it's going to pertain to now. If we look into the time of around May or June, when it's in Taurus, it's going to be more about financial markets and banking, money. That's Taurus. When we talk about in September, around that time, August, September, when it's in Virgo, that's going to be more about jobs, business, work, health, healing, all those things. But to boil it all down, earth signs deal with money and finances and career and work. It's about keeping a roof over our head. It's about finding ways to support a family, bring money in to support everything. This is earth. This is earthy. This deals with, well, our ways on this planet, the ways that we organize our ways. But right now, let's talk about the Capricorn placement, because Mercury being in this placement is in government, and it is, when it goes retrograde on the 14th, it's about 3 degrees from Saturn. So this is a serious time. Governments are having major issues and problems. They don't know how to organize their money. This is a grave difficulty that the repercussions are going to be felt throughout this year. And so Saturn makes it very serious. Saturn being in Capricorn, it's all about business and money and government. And let me just say this, I can tell you right now, interest rates are going up. And that causes the stock market and everything to go down. So watch how things are going to start freaking out over all of this. But what I find very, very interesting is that when Mercury does go retrograde on the 14th, Pluto and the Sun are coming together. 14th, 15th, and the 16th. The Sun Pluto, this happens once a year, but in Capricorn, it's going to be intense because it's going to be all about major issues with leadership and government. Who's in control? There's going to be some major problems here. So watch that. But I also find that Mercury, when it goes retrograde, it's going to be in the nakshatra Shravana. And that nakshatra symbol is an ear. It deals with the listening, learning, teaching, open-mindedness. And Shravana, I find that this nakshatra is the most important nakshatra to being open-minded. So things are going to have to change. It's really a wonderful nakshatra for learning. It's a time to learn new things, open your mind, be aware, be sensitive. But I want to say something else really important, because the day that Mercury turns direct, wow, is this ever a powerful day? It's the 31st of January. But what I find when it's slowing down and stationing, it means, you know, when a planet's going direct opposite where all the other planets are going forward and it's going backwards, it's saying, pay attention, listen to me, I've got something to show you, because I've changed directions. But it's going to station. In other words, it goes back, slows down, stops, and then it turns direct. This is important. So it's stationing, turning direct. It's more potent. It will be conjunct Pluto. Mercury Pluto is deeply intensity. This is intense. This Mercury retrograde is dancing with Pluto, the planet of major explosions, control, manipulation. But what always results is transformation, but it's usually after an ending of something. Something very big will end. Pluto is the god of the underworld. It rules death. So it doesn't always literally mean death, but death is an ending. The death of something will come. With this Mercury retrograde, I guarantee you that the last 2 weeks of January will be the most telling? Well, for one thing, we are going to have Mars. Well, Mars is going to be Gandanta between January 12th through the 18th. What is Gandanta? When it's at the last degrees of a water sign. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, well, of course, it's going to create crazy events that involve major weather issues, storms. Because remember, I was always taught that Gandanta meant drowning. And whether it's literal or figuratively, it means we're out of control. Mars, the planet of energy, the planet that triggers things, and it rules anger issues. So there's going to be a big triggering of events when Mars is Gandanta between the 12th through the 18th. Plus, on top of that, we're in the Kala Sarpa. And believe it or not, Kala Sarpa is more rare than you know when all the planets are on one side encased in the nodal axes of Rahu and Ketu. It means a time of fate and destiny. And all the planets are going to be in this Kala Sarpa yoga, all the planets on one side of Rahu and Ketu, till April. So watch these critical times. It's all about to explode. I know that this is so. And the reason why I wanted to bring up the Gandanta Mars is because Mars is in Scorpio. But while it turns Gandanta in the last degrees of Scorpio, it's in the nakshatra Jyeshta. Why is this important? Jyeshta is ruled by Mercury. And when Mars is in the last degrees, and it's with Ketu still, it's going to activate Mercury. And of course, Mars is in its own sign of rulership by being in Scorpio. This is powerful. But being in that nakshatra, Jyeshta, wow, something big is happening. And not only that, you wait and see if this retrograde doesn't bring everything into a reversal. Everything. The economy, the prices of everything. Everything is starting to really, the results will be seen of what's been going on with this crisis of this pandemic. And this Mercury retrograde is going to slow things down where things are going to become more and more difficult. It's going to be frustrating. I've got to warn you. It's going to be very frustrating, especially if you have any planets in Capricorn. This is a critical time. And it's like, just get ready for the anger to explode with all that's happening and the endings, the death of things. And there can be many deaths of people too, you'll see. So this is a critical crisis. And I think this retrograde slows everything down. I think the weather, the problems, we've got some major events happening all at once. And Shravana, the nakshatra that Mercury is retrograde in, is ruled by the moon. And what does that do? Makes it more emotional, makes it more poignant in terms of the emotions and the feelings that everyone's feeling about not being able to progress or move forward or do what's necessary. It's like we've got a hold on us all. So be aware. I think this Mercury retrograde is going to be one of the most potent ones we've had in a very, very long time concerning world leadership, those that are in government, and it's going to make some major repercussions in the job market and finances. And this whole year of 2022 is going to be about finances, the economy, the downward cycle, and where it's going to go. So plan accordingly with knowing all of this. Remember, astrology is nothing but guidance, to help guide your life through these difficult times. If you prepare, it won't be that bad. So that's why I like to do these updates, to give you the guidance to help you better prepare for what's ahead for you. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. And don't forget, if you would like to study and learn Vedic astrology, I have a stellar online university called University of Vedic Astrology.com, and you can join anytime. It is self-paced. It is a community of people around the world. You will get connected. If you want to learn astrology, this is the answer. So with that, I'd like to close. Thank you.